Okay, we're broadcasting, so I'm gonna do an intro in a few seconds. Good morning, folks. Welcome back to our fourth installment, live from Jerusalem, to our wonderful friends in Europe, especially our friends in Vilnius, Lithuania. Folks, how are you all doing today?
Great.
We can see you. You're live online. I'm thoroughly enjoying this class. We've been talking about the seventh day with Rabbi Chaim Goldberg, and we're thoroughly enjoying. I found that there's been a few words specifically that just reach out to me, and really I need to take time to digest and understand how Hashem has left this seventh day open for us to do certain things. Rabbi, how are you today?
Hi everybody. Hi, Salius also. Hi to you also. I'm fine, thank you. Good to see you all. And I'm glad to be with you. Also, not only I'm enjoying this, I think that it's very important. Because we are trying to spread out all the things that we're saying to the world. And I think that, as I said already a few times, I'm sure that if people will start to adjust those things and understand them and to accept them, we will be in a better world, and we can join all of us together. I think that I also published something. Hi, Daniel. Woo! Daniel Gonzalez.
Welcome.
Serious. I did also a blog post a few days ago that one of the most important things that the Hebrew nation is saying, this is the first nation that is saying that all of us started from one man. Even the woman, even Eva, okay, went out from this man. And the understanding of that, the profound understanding of this issue, that we will manage also to be reunited back. Because if you all started from one man, there is no one who is better than the other one, or who is much, preferred than the other one. Because we all preferred. We have equal, equal level.
That was a great article, Rabbi. A great article, and I got a few likes on Facebook, and it's good to see the equality of mankind come out of the Hebrew nation clearly.
Yes, and so I'm trying to give to all of us, the things and the way that we are thinking, and hopefully, I hope that if you have questions and if something is unclear, that you will ask and we'll clarify everything, and more that people that will join us and will understand those issues, we will see the more fruits of all of all of us coming to be united again. Daniel, I'm open your mute. From where are you?
Hello?
Yes, Daniel, we can hear you. From where are you? Say a few words about yourself.
All right, thank you. First of all, nice to meet you guys.
Pleasure to meet you, Daniel.
Thank you. As you told already, my name is Daniel. I'm from Bogota, Colombia, South America.
Wow, Bogota! I got some friends down there.
Oh, really?
Well, there's a wonderful couple named Tati and Avi right in Bogota, and wonderful Noahide folks that I believe are going through Jewish conversion, but they don't have any rabbis in that area. I'm understanding.
Well, there's not too much rabbis around here. Well, there's like a couple traditional communities that have been around for a lot of time, but the people like going around conversion, there's not too much, and there's not too much rabbis leading it. So there's not too much going on in those matters. But yeah, we're trying to do what we can with what we have.
Excellent.
Right? Very nice. So, very good.
So I don't know what else to say about myself. I don't really like to talk about myself too much. But
Well, we're glad to meet you, Daniel. And all the way from Bogota, Colombia, South America. I'm all the way in Canada, North America. And these wonderful folks are all the way in Vilnius, Lithuania. Wonderful to meet people from around the world.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'm glad to meet you guys, and I'm glad to have this opportunity to share these beautiful thoughts and lessons from the Holy Torah. So yeah, hopefully we're gonna learn a lot by the hand of this amazing rabbi.
Thank you very much. And Celius, from where are you? Also, from where are you?
Yes, I'm from Ireland. Nice to meet you again.
Yes, it's not the first time. We're already a few times, and you're from Ireland. So as you can see, we are from Canada, from Bogota, from Europe, and from Israel. So today,
wow,
with the internet, we can combine ourselves together, and I think that this is also part of the unity. Hi, Aurimas, I saw that you sneaked inside. I saw you.
Aurimas, how are you?
Hello, everyone.
Hi. Okay. So let's dive inside. Let's learn a bit from the Torah, because we are in the middle of something very. We are in the middle. I'm feeling that we are just in the middle of the things, and I will share the slides that we have. Just a moment. Where is it? Come on.
Excellent.
Just a moment. Let me find the slides.
Are we continuing with the seventh day, Rabbi?
Yes. We are in the middle of the seventh day. But why can't I see the show windows? Just a moment. Let me find it. I'm sorry. I don't know why we lost it. Why isn't it showing it? I won't speak like that. Just a moment.
Well, that's fine. Aurimas, how are you? I haven't chatted with you in so long. How are things?
Okay, great. Nice to hear from you.
And nice to hear from you. How is the weather there? Is it springtime?
Yes, in fact, it's fantastic. Now, the sunshine, we are enjoying sunshine after 4 years of almost, we had no sun at all.
Wow.
The weather
Clouds.
is great indeed.
Awesome. Excellent stuff.
And how is the weather with you in Canada?
In Canada, we're beautiful. Where I am, I'm in the warmest area in all of Canada. So I'm very fortunate. We're actually wine country here. We've got a lot of vineyards. I'm right near a couple of beautiful big lakes.
Oh, and which city are you from?
I live in a small city called Penticton. I'm about 3 or 4 hours from Vancouver, inland, right in the middle of the Rocky Mountains in Canada. And I'm a couple of blocks from Lake Okanagan, a huge, giant, deep lake. Surrounded by beautiful vineyards, and I'm so blessed. Hashem has just been great to me, and it's a beautiful region, but we're in springtime right now. Everything's just starting to blossom, and we're so excited.
Very good. This is one of the main things that we have today in our world, that from time to time we have the springtime, and everybody is, starting to smile again, and to see everything is starting to spring, to go outside from the leaves, from everything else. And Aurimas, to see a bit of the sun in this darkness place of Lithuania. It's not a darkness place, I'm sorry. It's more gray. It's a lot of gray there, right? All the time you have gray
sky.
So it's to see a bit of the sun. It's very nice. It's very good. I don't want to exchange with you all weather there.
Yes.
We were just letting you find your stuff, Rabbi.
Yes, we did. We found everything. I will remind few things that we spoke last week, and then we will continue. And again, I'm asking if anybody have any questions or something that is not clear enough or is unsettled with something, please don't hesitate to ask. Part of the reason that we are doing it live is so people will manage to ask and to understand, and not just to listen to what I have to say and to say, yes, everything is true. Maybe I'm saying all sorts of nonsense. So please don't hesitate and ask questions. Okay. I will remind things that we spoke also last week. Yeah, last week we saw this again. We explained. I will go one step further. We explained that each day have 4 steps that we understand in each day that God created. We have the planning, the decision that God decided, Vayomer Hashem, and God said. Then we have the implementation of the plan, or what we see in reality, the actual implementation, what really happened. God said that he wants one thing, and what really happened in the other thing. And then we have a judgment, if it's good or bad. Again, the words good and bad are connection to the judgment and also the confirmation. It's good enough. And the conclusion is it was night and day, one day, second day, third day, and everything else. After we saw 2 examples in the last 2 weeks, one in the third day and the other one in the second day, we jumped inside to the 6th day, to the 7th day. We looked inside. Everybody can see this screen. We read
looking good, Rabbi.
We read this 7th day, and we saw that we have only one thing inside, only the planning. God planted that everything will be, he blessed the 7th day and he hallowed it. This is the planning of God. But what really happened, we don't know. And more than that, we see that it's not concluded this day. The day doesn't have any judgment and doesn't have any conclusion.
Right.
And we concluded that apparently, we are still on the 7th day of creation. Okay, so this is what we spoke, and then we had 3 questions. We wanted to ask ourselves 3 questions. If we are still in the 7th day of creation, so we need to understand a few things. First of all, what is the exact mission of the 7th day?
Right.
The second question that we had is who is supposed to do this mission? After we saw that God is sitting down backwards, he's a bit, he's resting. It's not resting. We will speak about this again. We'll mention this again. And the third question is, what is the creator role on this day? And we started with answering the third question. Okay, I'm just reminding back, okay, the things that we spoke last week. Soon we're going to continue on. We spoke that the rule of the creation, of the creator in the 7th day, is that God basically completed on the 7th day all of his work, and he abstained. And he abstained. He stopped. He sat down at the side, and he's looking. We spoke that abstain is not relaxing. He's not relaxing, sitting aside and not doing anything. He is watching from the side and looking what's happening. And from there we came to a very interesting conclusion, and I will remind us all this conclusion in a bit of a different way. I'm asking you, all of you, if you remember or know, what do you think is the most interesting miracle that we can speak that happened in the Bible time? A question. I have a question. What is the most... Sorry?
Exodus of Egypt.
The exile from Egypt. Okay. Somebody else have other ideas? It's a good example. Okay. We in another 10 days, the Hebrew nation is going to sit down in front of the table, like we're doing for the last 4,000 years, and going to teach our young generation in the family what exactly happened in Egypt. And it's a very good example of something that a miracle, big miracles, not only 1, 10 miracles, and also the issue of the sea that we went out. Everybody agree that this is the most highest miracle that we know?
No, I think that the biggest miracle of all is creation of the world.
Okay, Awimas is saying the creation of the world. Okay.
And you know what? I like the flood, Rabbi. I like the flood.
You like the flood? Okay, the flood is also an interesting issue. The interesting thing that I have to say, except for Awimas, we'll speak about what you said, Awimas, in a few minutes. But before we will go inside to your example, I want to say our sages, okay, already 1,000 years ago, I'm speaking about Rabbeinu Saadia Gaon. and also about the Ramban 800 years ago. They mentioned also the Kuzari, Rabbi Yehuda Halevi. Okay, they mentioned a very interesting miracle, and they are saying that this is the most highest miracle that we can explain or show. And the miracle is the eating of the manna in the desert for 40 years.
Wow.
Okay. Now, why this is the most incredible miracle in their eyes? They're saying all the miracles that we know today, or that we spoke, or that you mentioned, all of them are something that happened once, and that's it. That's it. After it happened, it didn't happen anymore. The only miracle that happened for 40 years, day after day, not in front of one person, but it happened in front of all of the nation for 40 years. All of the nation, of the Hebrew nation, was in the desert. They had nothing to eat except for this manna that came to them from heaven every morning.
Wow.
Now, this is something that after 40 years, you can't even try to say that it didn't happen, or to try to take the young generation and to tell them all sorts of stories, to say to them that this
rationalize it.
Because the kids will say to them, yeah, don't say to us all sorts of craps. We saw with our eyes that we lived in this situation, or that we were not in the desert. So the most important miracle that they are saying was this issue of the manna. And we know also that one of the verses that God said, obey, that we will put this manna inside a jar, and it's still hiding today in the area of the temple, of the mount, of the temple, of the Israeli temple, okay, where today we have a lot of fights with Arabs. We don't know where it is exactly, because it's something already 3,000 years ago. It was hidden very well inside the temple area. Now, why I'm saying this? Because basically what we explained last week, that God decided, and this is where I'm relating to that you said, Oemas. God basically is showing us, exposing in front of us. If we are looking on this world, we don't see that God created it. We can't see it. We can't learn from the creation that God created this world, because the world of that we see today, the laws of this world are very strict. The laws of the nature, you can't discover the creator behind the laws of the creation. What we say, there's a circle of life, circle of laws, that everything is very deterministic and everything is irreversible, and the laws are very strict. And this is basically what God did in the seventh day, I will say in the period of time that we are today. Today, God is hiding himself in behind the laws of nature. We can't see him. So from time to time, he is doing all sorts.
But all the more the bigger this miracle, because it is so much disguised as a routine, and so it makes it even a bigger miracle.
Yes, it's true. But and now I'll go to this is exactly what's happening in the first 6 days. In the first 6 days, God is all the time interfering. Just a moment, I will close this using the thing. Just a moment. I'm sorry for this.
So, Rabbi, are we talking about simsum, concealment?
I lost. You can't see what I'm showing, right? Just a moment. Let's go back. Okay, now you can see me again. I didn't hear what you said. Sorry.
Simsum, is that concealment?
I'm not sure that I'm familiar with the words that you said.
Okay. I guess it's a Hebrew word, simsum, has to do with...
Simsum, you spoke, I thought that you're speaking in English.
Forgive me, my Hebrew is terrible. I have to learn this.
No, if you will say that you spoke in Hebrew, that you're speaking in Hebrew, I will understand what you're saying. But I thought that you're saying to me something in English. Yes, it is connected to the word Tzimtzum. Okay, the word Tzimtzum is where God basically is hiding himself. He's pulling off, withdrawing himself. This is the word, withdrawing himself backwards. So he won't interfere us. But in the first 6 days, when God wasn't there, okay, God, in the first 6 days, he created everything. In those 6 days, he is doing a lot of miracles. Okay, when you're looking today about a very important person that was a very big bishop, Barclay or Hume, okay, those two people, they are saying that there are any miracles in this world. There are not. You don't have any miracles in this world. But the Hebrew nation is saying that we have two legs, okay? The first 6 days where we didn't have any man in this world, okay? And the seventh day of today. Today, the laws of the nature are strict. In the first 6 days, the laws of the nature were not strict, as we spoke already 2 weeks ago, when God is saying to the earth, take out trees, okay, fruitful trees and fruit from the trees, and the earth decided for themselves to take out only part of what God said, because they had also a bit of a free will. And this is, I will say, the relationship that God have with this earth, with this universe, when he is creating this universe. So in the beginning of this creation, the first 6 days, God is creating everything. And then on the seventh day, the rule of God is to sit down aside and not to do anything and be behind the scenes unless everything will collapse down. For example, the Egyptians are going to kill all the Hebrew nation, so he have no choice, and then he is exposing himself, and then it's also a big tragedy for the Egyptians. And wherever God is exposing himself, there is a big tragedy, okay? Because the truth is, God wants everything to work here in this world without his appearance, because if he will appear, everything else is going to get like the sun, that when the sun is here, we can't see any stars, so nobody will be here. And from there, we went on to another question. If we're speaking about two levels in this world, the level where we do have a personal connection with God, the side of the creation, the first 6 days, and the level that we don't have any connection with God, it's only through the laws of the natures. So we ask ourselves, who is the only thing here in this world that have those two sides of the world together? And we said that this is a human being who have, from one side, his consciousness and his mind, and from the other side, his physical body that is very structured with the laws of the nature. And we asked the next question that we asked, how exactly or where exactly we can combine those two? Where is the part that is getting connected, connecting those two sides? And we said this is the issue of the food, as you can see also with the verse. Okay, with the sweat of your face, you shall eat bread. Okay, until you return to the ground, for you were taken from there. For dust you are. And dust
you will return. Yeah.
But it's all connected also to the issue of the food, of eating bread. So this eating of bread, I will say, is taking the food that is a world, that is something that is connected to the nature and the laws of the nature, and is becoming a man, something that have conscience. Okay, so this food is something very important. And now we understand, and this is what we explained. Now we understand the issue of God, I will say, in this seventh day. He is hiding behind the scenes, just like the sun is hiding behind the world, and then we can see all the stars. So God is hiding behind the scenes, and all of human being here can start to say to themselves, I'm here, I'm alive, I'm thinking, so I'm alive, I can do what I want to do. I need to decide if I want to be obligated to God or if I want to be, despite, far from God. And this is the role of God in this, I will say, the seventh day that we are still inside. But the Torah is starting with the first 6 days, even though we can't see it and we can't feel it. The only way that we can start feeling it a bit is with the issue of food, that we understand that we need something outside of us that will give us life. So we're speaking about God who is outside of us, who's giving us life. And we understand that we have two, I will say, stages in this world. The stage of creation that we never saw, we have no idea how it happened, but God can do miracles. And the stage, not of creation, but the stage of Shabbat, of the seventh day, that God is hiding behind the scenes. So we have opportunity or ability to do whatever we want to do. So we answered the first question, what is the creator role on this day? Is to hide behind the nature, and the word world in Hebrew is olam, and olam is also the word, or is very related to the word he'elem, the word of behind. Okay, he'elem is being missing, not that nobody will see you. It's also connected to the word of tzimtzum. This is things that we spoke last week. If someone have any questions, this is the time. If not, we will continue on.
Excuse me, Rabbi. I think I have a question regarding the miracles issue.
Not a problem. Just a moment, Daniel. What is the time by you now? What is your time now?
10:57.
Okay, not a problem. Thank you. Yes, Daniel. Yes. What is your question?
About the miracles. What you said, that every time Hashem has to show himself to the world through a miracle, it's like something terrible always happens at the same time. So does it apply to any kind of miracle possible to happen?
Usually in the Hebrew nation, and it's also in the Talmud in few places, we don't really like that there will be miracles. Because miracle is something that God is doing when he have no choice. When something, is not, he need to interfere, I will say. This is also why we said that this is not the word that he's resting. He's not resting, he's obtaining, he's looking aside. If there will be a disaster, if he won't interfere, so he's interfering to
prevent
the disaster.
Prevent the disaster.
Yes. And usually this is what happened, okay? The only time that, or one of the only times that the miracle came to this world, and it was, a bit good, it was when he gave the 10 Commandments. Also this, our great rabbis are saying that he interfered in this world, and he gave it because he saw that the world was supposed to come to this issue of learning Torah and knowing the Torah by itself, okay? And the reason why we're not doing it is because we didn't came to this stage, and God saw that that the world is going to go to a different place, so he interfered and gave these 10 commandments.
Back on track.
Yes, and in those 10 commandments also, he gave us all the world heard it. And the Hebrew nation came to a very high stage of the next world. And after a few days, something like 40 days after that, 40 days, they did also the scarf, the golden scarf. So we lost it also. Yes. So we lost it. But usually, every time that God is interfering to this world, it's because something bad, and he needs to straighten up the world. Also, Dan also mentioned the issue of the flood. But
yes.
Think about this, also the flood. Everybody here died, except for Noah and his family. So
but
again,
Rabbi, at the beginning of the flood, the first thing he said to Noah was, the end of all flesh has come before me. Just like you're saying, there was a catastrophe about to happen. Hashem's first words to Noah were, the end of all flesh has come before me. So there's a catastrophe going to happen. Those were the first words he said to Noah.
Again, of course, the flood that he gave is also, but if they were doing repeatedness in the right way, nobody would die, but they didn't want to do that, this repeatedness. So God is also warning, but from the other side, when he say that it won't go on the tracks, so he's exposing himself, and this is what's happening. Okay, it's the same with the Babylon, with the Babylon issue. It's the same with the Sodom and Amorah. Okay, how do you say it in English? Sodomite. Okay, when God exposed himself, every time that God exposed himself, it's not so easy for the human world. And in the Talmud, okay, in the oral Bible that we have, it's also mentioned very clear and loud that someone that God is doing for him miracles, it's not a big benefit for him.
Right.
It's not good for him, because we prefer that God will stay in behind the scenes until the end of the seventh day, until the Mashiach will come, until Messiah will come. Okay, Daniel?
Yes,
Excellent.
Rabbi. That was pretty clear. Thank you very much.
Not a problem. Okay. More questions, or we're continuing on?
We're okay online.
Okay, let's go on.
Can
Okay.
I ask you a question?
Yes. Serious, yes.
Yes, my question is about connection the 7th day and the celebration of Shabbat, Hebrew nation. I know that the beginning of this is it's like given that you have to remember and obey the celebration. But I mean, is there any connection between hiddenness of God and the showing God Himself on Shabbat, or like, I don't know, giving you rest is some kind of feeling of presence of God?
Yeah.
Is there any connection?
Yeah, there is a very deep connection, and please, it's a question that you're asking, before the time. So let's go a bit. Let's continue on a bit, and then you will get also the answer, and we will explain this. We'll brought this issue a bit more. Okay, Sarius, it's a good question. Let's continue on, and we will continue with this.
Okay.
So, and now we asked ourselves, what is the mission of the seventh day? Okay, this is the next question that we need to ask ourselves. And now, again, the first thing that we said, we already explained, so I'm going to do this briefly, and then we'll continue on much deeper inside to us. So we said, it's not that God is resting on the seventh day, but he's abstaining on the seventh day. So he's sitting aside, he's looking what's happening, observing. The word abstain is coming also from the word observing. He's observing what's happening from the side. If something is not on the track, it's going to lose this world, so he's interfering, and it's not going to be nice to us. And he said, on the seventh day, the mission is to be blessed and to be hallowed. So the word of the issue of the blessed, we explained a bit last week. The blessing is the issue of bracha. Bracha is also coming from the word of birkaim also. And we saw that this word of bracha, to be blessed, is the issue of fruitful and multiply. Those are two things that Adam already got. And we saw the difference between what God is saying to the animals on one side, we can see it in the right side of the screen, and what God is saying to men. And the main difference is that God is speaking with men. He is not speaking with the animals. So we have a connection, a good connection with God. And the issue of the blessing is, we can speak about the taste that we have. Ta'amuru kitov Hashem. Okay, taste and see that God is good. That God is good. That God is good. The Lord is good. The issue of the taste, the issue of, as you said before, that you can see, go outside and you see the flowers suddenly, and you see that the world is getting something a bit bigger than what it had before. The blessing is what is saved to nature from a place behind the nature. Now we are so familiar with this. We are so regular with this. When we're taking a seed of an apple and we're putting it in the ground, that it will give us an apple tree with a lot of apples, a lot of years. So it's natural, but let's think about this for a moment, okay? We're speaking about a seed, a small seed, that is having inside itself all these big tree of apple. And it's the same with everything else. This is the issue of the nature and the issue of the blessing. Before God is hiding himself, okay, that we won't feel him, he is giving fruit, footprints inside. Okay, this issue of blessing. He's saying to us, don't be afraid. I'm here in behind the scenes. It will be naturally, but listen good. You will see it's with everything. It's not only with the apple trees. Okay, it's also with the issue of the humankind. Okay, I went out from my mother womb, and it was very nice that I got food and also breath to that I can breathe. And the blessing is that I can also give someone else the issue of life. So this is the issue of the blessing. We spoke about this. The ability of morality, God is speaking with us, and the ability to experience the blessing, not only to that there is a blessing here. There is only one in all of this universe, not the animals, not anything else, that can feel this blessing with his morality. With his morality. And this is the issue of the blessing. So this is, I will say, step number one. We spoke about this last week. Now I want to continue on, okay, and to go with the issue of the, with the second issue, with the issue of the Holowit. Because this issue is very, very hard, especially for today, after 2,000 years, that we had, I will say, the Christian understanding of this word, and it's not at all what the Hebrew nation is saying. Okay, so let's go. I don't want to go inside too much to what the Christian is saying with this issue. I want to go to a verse that we have. As usual, Dan, I will read it in Hebrew, and you will read it in English. Okay?
Sure.
דבר אל כל עדת בני ישראל, ואמרת עליהם, קדושים תהיו, כי קדוש אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the entire congregation of the children of Israel, and say to them, You shall be holy, for I, the Lord your God, am holy. Leviticus 19, 1 and 2.
So we see that there is some sort of holiness that God is asking us to be there.
Right.
But let's try to understand exactly what is this holiness. By the way, what is written down here, if we will think about this in different words, we don't know what is holy, what holy is. In a moment, I will explain this a bit. We don't know what holy is, but we do see that God is saying, listen, I'm a bit bored. I'm alone. Please be my friend. When I'm bored, I'm holy, but I want also that all of you will be holy, so I will be able to contact with you and I won't be alone anymore. This is exactly what God is saying, right?
Connect, yeah.
Oh, must you with me? This is what God is saying. This is what God is saying. So what is this holiness that God is speaking about? So I'm going to put a very important Rashi. Rashi is a commentator that is explaining a lot of things. And please, Dan, please read this Rashi and explain what is.
You shall be holy. Separate yourselves from sexual immorality and from sin, for wherever one finds a barrier against sexual immorality, one finds holiness. For example, they, the Kohanim, shall not take in marriage a woman who is a prostitute or one who was profaned. I, the Lord who sanctifies you, am holy, Leviticus 21, 7 and 8, and he shall not profane his offspring. I am the Lord who sanctifies him, Leviticus 21, 15, and they shall be holy. They shall not take in marriage a woman who is a prostitute or one who was profaned in Leviticus 21, 6 and 7. That's in Vayikra Rabbah 24, verses 4 to 6, and see also Sefer Hazikaron.
Hazikaron, yes, Sefer Hazikaron. It's one of the books. Basically what he's saying two things. First of all, he's saying that the word holy is separate yourself from something. Okay, holy is to be a bit far. So, and we know that God also, on the seventh day, he is separating himself from the world. Okay, so we're starting to understand what's happening here. As God is asking us to separate ourselves from all sorts of sins, we will speak about two main sins that he's speaking about. Then we are being called holy. And the same issue, God is separating himself from the world in the seventh day. And this is what he said, he holied it this seventh day. And he's asking us also to do like him, to separate ourselves from something. From what? From two things. So Rashi here is bringing mainly the issue of the sexual immorality. Okay? But there are two verses, two main verses that all the time are being mentioned or mentioning this issue of holiness when they are speaking about things that we need to do. And those two issues that we are speaking about, so first of all, like I said, like God who separated himself from our world so human can live here, we need to separate ourselves from sin, and especially from sexual immorality, like Rashi said. The examples that Rashi is bringing here is all things of sexual immorality. But there is another thing that is all the time being said, this issue of the holiness. And I will read it in Hebrew. וידבר אדוני אל משה ואל אהרון לאמור עליהם, דברו אל בני ישראל לאמור, זאת החיה אשר תאכלו מכל הבהמה אשר על הארץ. And after a very, very long list of the things that we are able to eat or we are disabled to eat, it says, כי אני אדוני, המעלה אתכם ארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים, והייתם קדושים כי קדוש אני. Please, Dan, read it also in the English.
And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, These are the creatures that you may eat among all the animals on earth. For I am the Lord who has brought you up from the land of Egypt to be your God. Thus you shall be holy, because I am holy. Leviticus 11.
So we see again, there are two main issues that God is saying. Like I did this step and got myself separated from this world, okay, and behind the scenes, I'm asking you also to be a bit holy. And what is to be holy? In two issues, in the sexual immorality, and also with the issues that you are eating. Those are the two things that when you will separate yourself from sin, from the not the right way of doing from doing the things in the right way and not doing them in the incomplete way, in the bad way, you will separate yourself from being in sin. You will be holy. And if you will say this in this way, what we say, okay, so God, like God who separated himself from our world so human can live here, we need to separate from sin, especially from sexual immorality and food. And this is also reminding us something very interesting that we spoke before. We spoke about this issue, that the food is the exact issue that is combining or is the connection between two parts of this world, the part of the world of the nature world and the part of the creation world. This is the exact place where we are touching all of this together. And God is saying to us, in this seventh day, when you will know to separate yourself from the bad things and to be related to the nice or to the good things, you will manage to be holy, okay? And if you will also put inside with this issue of blessing, okay, to listen, to understand that you are getting blessing and to appreciate that in this moral way, you will be holy from one side and blessed from the other side. And when you will finish this task, then God will say, it's good, judgment. And then he will say, so it was night, and it was evening, and it was day. Seventh day completed, let's go to the eighth day. You with me? All of you, I'm not saying, I'm saying a few things very simple. And I will go another step inside. We have in the Maimonides, he organized all the Torah and all the laws of the Torah in 14 books. And each book got a different name. There is one book who is, the name of this book is a holy book, Sefer HaKdusha, the holy book. And this book, the fifth book, okay, the sacred book or the holy book, this book, when you're taking students and you're asking them, what do you think is inside this book? So they're saying how to work in the Beit HaMikdash, how to work in the holy place, how to do things in the in the shul, in the Bet Knesset, in all sorts of holy places. No, I want to tell you that this sacred book, that this holy book is speaking about two things, only two things, two laws, the laws of sexual immorality and the laws of the food, of the Hebrew nation food. Those are the two things that if we know how to keep them in the right way, we will be holy. By the way, also a Noahide person, that he doesn't suppose to keep on with himself. All the laws of the food of the Hebrew nation, and it's okay, but there's still one law of food that he needs to keep with himself, and this is not to eat from a live animal, okay? Not to take from a live animal.
Living animal, yeah.
Yes. So every person in this universe have something related to how to be holy in food, okay? We all know that also the Noahide laws have also the laws of the sexual immorality. So every person in this world have those two issues, okay, that are related together with the issue of the holiness, to separate yourself from those things. And then we are concluding that this is the issue of holiness. So the mission of the seventh day is blessed and holy. And this is what we try to explain, or this is what we ask ourselves. What is the mission of the seventh day? The mission of the seventh day, to be blessed and to be holy. Question till here. I said it, I spoke. I hope that I didn't spoke fast too much, but if someone have any questions to those two things, it's very different than to take some sort of a bread and to say all sorts of magic words inside and to say now it's holy. By the way, in the Hebrew nation tradition, it's just the opposite way. Mm-hmm. Everything here that God did is holy. The apple that we're taking from the tree is holy. And when we are blessing, we're asking permission from God to put it from the holiness so we can eat it and bring it to this world, to the place, okay, a human being that can combine those two sides of the world, the side of the creation, okay, the side of the spiritual, the side of the consciousness, and the side of the nature, the side of the body. So we're asking God, this is yours, and we're asking permission to take it and to use it as you ask us to do in this world. Questions till now?
That is a very unique point, Rabbi. Yeah, a little bit different than the way a lot of other religions would view that, and the concept that people think that they have to make something holy rather than Hashem made things, and the things, everything that He's made has a degree, and then we have to interact with it properly.
Exactly. We need to interact. This is also a bit related, okay, we need also to combine this a bit, because the issue of the sexual immorality, we need to understand that this is part of the blessing. The main blessing is coming with this, that we can give fruit as a human being, that we can give also life. Like we got life for free, we can give life for free. So this is why this is the place where we can find ourselves in the holy side. Now, the issue of what we are eating is also very important, because what we are eating is coming part of us. It's coming part of the human. So if we want to be holy, we need to separate ourselves from the not the right things, okay? To be aside from the wrong things and to take only the right things so we can be holy. So when we are separating ourselves from the bad things in the sexual side and in the eating side, we can be holy. And when we will finish at the end of the days this mission, and God will see and say to Himself, interesting, so they are blessed and they are holy. And then He will say, it's good enough, it's good enough, it's good. So we can go on to this 8th day. Okay, more questions if someone has. If not, if everything is clear, we'll continue on. It's okay with me.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, Elias, yes.
Yes. Is it God waiting?
I can't see you. It's okay. Okay, yes, let's continue on. Yes, Elias, I'm with you.
Is it God will be waiting for all humanity to become like Noahide, or to using this this tool to become holy.
Yes, it is true. Yes, God is waiting for us. I will, because we are very close, very not far from Passover. So I will say also a very important point with this. In the Hebrew tradition, we say for Passover we say Yetziat Mitzrayim, and if I will translate this in the exact way, it says basically we're saying, okay, every time that the Egyptians went out from Egypt. Now, it's not true. Who went out from Egypt? The Hebrew nation. So why are we saying this, Yetziat Mitzrayim? Because we want to remind ourselves that there is something there that we missed, we lacked. We didn't do in the exact way. The truth is that when we went out from Egypt, what we were supposed to do, that everybody, all the human nation, all the humanity in this world will go out from, or say from the stage that they were, and become Noahide and become holy and become blessed. And we failed. Only the Hebrew nation went out from Egypt. And because only the Hebrew nation went out from Egypt, we have a very, very long history until everybody else will come to this issue, or will come to be blessed in holiness, like God wants us to be. And this is why what we are reminding ourselves every time when we're speaking about Passover. We are reminding ourselves that we didn't, all of us came out from those. In Hebrew, the word Mitzrayim is also to be stuck inside the, I will say, the nature laws, the laws, inside, to be stuck in the laws. And we didn't manage to take all of the all of the humanity outside the laws, to be in the side of the, what we spoke about, the creation and everything else that is much more, not in the seventh day, but in the other days. So the truth is that you are right. And we are in the beginning of it's very interesting what we have today, because we feel this also all over the world, that we are in the beginning of some sort of a very, very big situation where everything is going to change up, not only with the Hebrew nation, but also the Hebrew nation is speaking with others, and people are listening, and people trying to understand how to change their ways. So we're waiting for this time. We're waiting for this time also. I'm taking time of myself to be with you and to speak those things, and then I'm putting this on the internet. Not only me, we are a couple of rabbis, not only from Israel, from other places in the world. And this is very important for us, because this is the next stage of this.
And we're so thankful.
And okay, I'm continuing on. It's very important to continue on a bit more.
Sure.
Please.
Thank you for that.
Not a problem. And now the last question that we had is who is supposed to do this mission? Okay, and we spoke about the bracha, and we know that the ability of morality and the ability of experience of the blessing is connected to the person and not to anybody else. I think that I said it already once, but I will say this again. The issue of thankfulness, to say thank you, God can't say thank you to himself. Okay, he is giving everything, he's giving life, he's giving everything. So he can't say thank you. To who he will say thank you? To himself. It's not going together. Okay, the only person who can say thank you, and God, this is the only thing that God can't really do, okay, is man. Man can say thank you. We'll speak about this, by the way, next week, hopefully next week. So this is related to the person. And the issue of the holiness is also related to the people, okay? When God is saying to the congregation of the children of Israel and said to them, be holy, he's speaking both to the Hebrew nation. So who is supposed to do all those things? And also we spoke about this issue of the food, that by eating the right things, we will manage to take the world side and to put it to be a creation side. So who is supposed to do all those things? Only humankind. Humankind, he is supposed to do what's happening in the seventh day. And this is exactly what is written down. At the end of the seventh day, and God blessed the seventh day, and he hallowed it. For thereon, he abstained from all of his work, as we spoke already, and that God created, and from now on man is to do. Man is supposed to do, and this is also people don't really understand, especially in the Hebrew language, those two words at the end of the sentence, to do. If he stopped doing everything, so what is those two words of to do is coming again? The word to do is obeying, and man start doing the things that you need to do. And when you will finish those things, I will manage to say that the implementation of my plan became reality, and I will judge this as Vayar Elohim ki tov, it's good, and then I will conclude this day, and from there on we will continue to a very interesting issue, okay? And for this small insight that will conclude this issue, I'm asking you, Dan, to read what Rashi is saying about the words of the blessing and holiness on those verses, please, Dan.
Okay, Rabbi. It says Rashi said, and blessed and hallowed, he blessed it with manna, for on all the days of the week it descended for them in the amount of an omer per person, whereas on the sixth day each one received a double portion, and he hallowed it with manna, that it did not descend at all on the Sabbath. This verse is written with reference to the future from Genesis Rabbah 11:12.
Okay, so what we see here that Rashi is saying, let's understand exactly what is blessing and what is hallowed. And he's taking the example of the manna, what I said already, that our sage is saying that this is the most amazing miracle that we had in this world. And this manna...
For 40 years.
For 40 years, not for one day, and not only for 40 years, but it wasn't only for one person or for his 12 mission people. It was for a full nation for 40 years.
Week after week after week after week.
So we have two things in this week. We have, first of all, that each day they're getting this manna. And then we see that in the sixth day, there's a blessing of twice amount. And the seventh day, again, God is withdrawing back. There isn't any manna. So it's a bit hallowed. The word hallowed is when you are not doing things. And this is the main issue that we have on this sixth day, on this seventh day. So when we're asking ourselves why the Hebrew nation it's so important in the Hebrew nation to keep this Shabbat. The issue of the Shabbat is one of the most essential sides of this world that is trying to explaining a bit what exactly is happening in this world and what is the aim of this world, of those 1,000 years that we are together since men who have conscience in this world is coming to this world. Because now we understand what we need to do. This is the opening of the Bible. What we need to do in this day, in those days, how we need to be or how do we need to react. So on Shabbat, we are stopping everything and we are saying, look, we know that you, God, created this world. And we have in this world also something very deep, something blessed and something hallowed.
Wow.
And this is how we're doing. We're showing this on the Shabbat after for 40 years, not for one day, for 40 years, we kept this Shabbat with this miracle that God gave us with this manna. And now we are viewing on this world in the right way. We're viewing this world from one side that we have 6 days of work and 6 days that we need to do the right things. And also we need in the conscience side, in the spiritual side, to be to understand this blessing and to be hallowed. And from the other side, we know that there is someone here who created this world, and this is how we are living here. And this is also why on Shabbat we are stopping of doing all sorts of things. Why those things and not other things? It's a different issue. We need to speak about this. It's not a serious about Shabbat, something that maybe we need to do once. But this is the opening of the Bible. This is how the Bible is starting. When you're looking on this world, you can't see the fingerprints of God by yourself. You need to get it from someone else. This is one of the things that the Hebrew nation is giving us through the prophets. God created this world, but we can see it. We won't be able to see it in our eyes, when we are preserving this world as it is. Only on the Shabbat, or when we're understanding that we are today on this Shabbat day, we are today on the Saturday day, and God is behind the scenes, we're starting to understand what's happening here, and it's being as something that a full nation managed to live for 40 years in this way. And we will go another way, another very important thing that we must say, that it is mentioned that there is the 8th day in the Bible. And this 8th day that is mentioned in the Bible is when Moses gathered all the elders, Moses and Aaron gathered all the elders of Israel, okay? And he created the
Mishkan.
The Mishkan, okay? He created the Mishkan. And in another place in the Bible, on the Numbers, it says that it was the first day. So in one place we're calling it the 8th day, and in another place we're calling it the first day, the one day, okay, the first day. And Rashi is explaining that this is the first day because that day took a lot of crowns, and it was the first day of creation, because we're speaking about the next creation. And this is what I said. The Mishkan is something that is coming from the 8th day. And we know that there are all the time few miracles inside the Mishkan. There were 10 miracles inside the Mishkan, because this is something that came to us from the world, beyond this world, for the world to become. So we had it here in the Mishkan, and then it was destroyed. Then we had it also in the temple, and then it was destroyed. And then we had it again in the temple, and then it was destroyed, because something that is coming from outside this world usually is being rejected. And this is what happened with the Mishkan. So from one side, we have, if you will take, for example, one bird, okay, 100 birds, all of them yellow, and you will put inside one bird black, they will kill him, because it's something different. In this natural issue. And then the same thing when you're taking in this world something that is coming from the 8th day. So the world is rejecting this issue. But we are having this, I will say, insights that there is something here that is coming from the 8th day, giving blessing to this world. But this is just, something small insight with this issue of the 6th or 7th day. And next time we're going to speak or to go a bit deeper inside to the, I will say, to what exactly men need to do, not only to speak very in a large scale, but also to speak with more issues or details about men. And what we saw till now is that God created this world in 2 stages. A stage of creation where God interfered inside, and a stage where he's sitting back and abstaining to see what's happening here. He's interfering only when something is going to be very bad. And we as human beings need to be very involved to understand the blessing from one side, and to acknowledge it, and from the other side also to be holiest enough so God will manage to say that this world came to the stage where you can say it was blessed and it was holy, it's good, and it will conclude this day. So we'll manage to come to the world to come, the 8th day, where the temple will be here, not only the temple, but also a lot of things that will be much more holiest than we are today.
True holiness, yeah. True holiness, not just make-believe or pretend or man-made, but something that is truly from the other side.
Exactly. Questions till now? Because if not, no. If you have any questions, this is the time. With your permission, again, I'm organizing all those sessions that we had, and I'm going to send this to people, in slides of small portions of small lessons. But if you have any questions, I'm also taking your questions, is assisting me to be much more precise when I'm sending those things to other people. So if you have any questions or any notes, this is the time to say. Yes.
Yeah, so, well, you said that, well, Hebrew people failed to do something, in this episode of Yetziat Mitzrayim.
And you translate I will remind you that you translated this to Lithuanian last year, but I will show you. Okay.
Yeah, so I remember it all very well, but when I read the episode of Exodus of Egypt, so the role of the of the Hebrew people is very passive. So all they do is they follow instructions of Moses, and on his part, Moses is following instructions of Hashem. So no, I can't see what they could possibly fail to do in this episode.
They were supposed to, because they were involved with the Egyptians for more than 200 years, they were supposed to teach the Egyptians what is God and what is the true God, and what exactly they were supposed to do, the Egyptians. And we know that there are groups of Egyptians that went with them, with the Hebrew nation outside from Egypt, but there were a small group from one side, and there were also a lot of misunderstanding in this group. And the Hebrew nation, what you see today, or what you see in the Bible, first of all, as you can see now, what is written down in the Bible is only a lot of hints, okay? There are a lot of things that are written in the Bible, but are not really, you need to know how to, they are hidden inside the Bible.
Yeah.
There is a very large group in the Hebrew nation that knew the truth and was supposed also to bring the Egyptians to a bigger level, and we didn't manage to do that. And it's a bit of a failure for us. And as you can see, okay, by yourself, since then till now, we are speaking about almost 4,000 years. And only now, people all over the world is starting to be part of this. You called it when we spoke last time on the phone, okay? You said also by yourself. Only now we see that a lot of people all over the world are starting to listening to what the Hebrew nation have to say. But 4,000 years, it's not 2 days. So we are with a bit of, losing it. It's a long time.
Yeah,
yes.
But then I need something else to add. Jewish people say that we need to teach the world by example, okay? So this implies that non-Jewish world is not supposed to learn Torah, right? Well, if Jews are not supposed to teach in theory, so at least, the non-Jewish world is not supposed to learn Torah from books. Do you agree?
No. First of all, there are 4 stages, okay? And we are today in the fourth stage where we are supposed to teach Torah also to non-Jewish people. The only thing that I said, and I'm saying this all the time, learn the Torah, listen to the Torah, read the Torah, everything is okay. But you need to remember that there's also, like we have the written Torah, there's also the oral Torah, the Torah that we passed along the generations. And this is where you're getting from the rabbis, okay? Those insights that are not, when you read the Torah, you won't be able to acknowledge those issues without the inheritance that tradition that we had in the Hebrew nation. But it's very important that also non-Jewish will learn Torah. Who said that it's not important today? It's very important today for all of the rabbis, especially the Kabbalah rabbis. Are saying that it's very important today to teach even non-Jewish Torah. Yes.
Yeah, so indeed, I fully agree that for non-Jews it is equally important to learn Torah, because only from example, from only, observing Jewish people, it's impossible to learn anything. Well, say, for example, if only, non-Jewish people only observe Jewish people, so what do they know? What is actually, Jewish value? To behave like you do, or has shalom like Leon Trotsky? So, they are confused because the Jewish people are behaving differently, and if they want to know for sure what are Jewish values, so, well, they must learn some sort of theory. I think that it's impossible to learn Torah only from observing Jewish people or learning from their example.
I agree with you. This is why I'm also it's my obligation, okay, to teach Torah, not only mine. I'm saying that we are a few rabbis, and this is what we are doing. We're teaching also the insights of the Torah and starting to understand what exactly is being here and to have the right mindset from one side, and also how to behave from the other side. This is what we're doing.
Rabbi?
Yes. Yes.
Rabbi, I like how you shared the analogy. If you had 100 yellow birds and one blackbird comes in, the yellow birds will peck at the blackbird because the blackbird is not one of them. Right. I think to answer Arimus's question, if that blackbird was painted yellow, how would the yellow birds respond? I think the yellow birds wouldn't respond at first until they noticed something was different. And if the paint wore off in the rain, the birds would be that much more violent. And I think the story is that we as B'nai Noach and the people of the world, we need to study Torah, but there's a difference between performing it as a Jewish person. Are we mimicking someone or are we actually learning what we need to learn? And there's a distinguishable difference between camouflaging yourself to be something you are not versus actually learning what you're intended to learn. And I think that that's what you're trying to bring out. What are we intended to know and then to perform?
Exactly. Yes, I fully agree.
Yeah. I think that's clear because we know the world will, if there were a bunch of yellow birds, they'll peck at a blackbird, and they know they can't stop that nature that is an animalistic nature that doesn't embrace morality. And as we learn the morality, we need to understand that, hey, Hashem has asked this of the Jewish nation, but not of the rest of the world. And that is fair. That is all fair. What has Hashem asked of us? And take joy and pleasure in that. And that is great stuff that Hashem has asked us to do certain things and learn from those that Hashem has asked to do other things rather than mimic pretending to be Jewish rather than being who you are and fulfilling your potential. I learned from Rabbi Chaim. I learned from other rabbis, but I don't want to be someone I am not.
I agree with that very much, Dan. Chacham Dan, I can call this as Chacham Dan, okay? And especially, I'm saying, especially in those days that we are trying to do this revolution in this world, when people are from other nations, other countries, okay? And they don't need to become Jewish people. And they can give much more to this world by being Noahide and staying with their communities and sharing things with their communities. It's our responsibility. The rabbi's responsibility. It's Rabbi Sherki and mine and Rabbi Karmi and others to share with you the things that are related to you and normal that you can use them and you can go ahead and those
be
are the
holy.
things that you
be holy as you're talking
about. Be holy and to be blessed. And this is our responsibility to share those things with you. I'm not going to share with you exactly. Thank God I got last week had another new grandchild. Grandchild was born in my family.
Oh, okay? Congratulations!
Thank you very much. My son, had a son, and yesterday we had this celebration of Brit Milah. Wow. And there are a lot of halachot. What exactly you need to do in this Brit Milah? I'm not going to share this on the internet and to explain to everybody how to do circumstances exactly, because this is something that is unique to the Hebrew nation. And only when someone is deciding to do this conversion to Hebrew or to the Israel nation, then he is doing this. And this is something that I'm not going to share this stuff. I'm going to share a lot of stuff, a lot of things that are related to all of us and connected to all of the humankind, like we spoke in those last 3 or 4 times. And we're going to continue with those things to be deep inside, to be more profound in the Bible, to explain a lot of insights inside the Bible from the oral Torah that are related to all of us, and that we can take them and to be much more blessed and much more holiest than we are today. And each one and one of you, I think, have a lot of possibilities and a lot of options to
potential.
have much more potential to influence a lot of more people around yourself, and not by trying to do to become something else. So
Right.
the issue, and this is why I agree with you, Hamdan. If we have any more questions, because unfortunately I think that another something like 5 minutes, someone is going to cut us off and go with that. Yes.
Have I heard you right that you're coming here to Vilnius? Yeah?
Who sneaked this today?
It's out of the bag now. Everybody knows now. It's all over the internet now, Rabbi.
Yeah, exactly. So we have 2 things. First of all, I am coming to Vilnius straight after another 3 weeks and a half. I'm coming to Vilnius. Today I got the tickets. You can say to Diana that today I got the tickets also. And I'm going to be for a week there with the issue of the Michael, and we're going to do one night or something like that, also to meet the people from the Noahide community. And we're also speaking about the issue of the Israel journey, but this is something that we'll speak next week, not today. That people are coming from a few places in the world are coming to Israel for a special tour that we're organizing for the Noahide community. And in Vilnius, I'm going to be, when is it at the end of this month and the beginning of the week of the end of this month, I'm going to be in Vilnius. Right, Aurimas?
Yes, so we're looking forward to greet you.
Bezat Hashem. So we're going to have next week's session at the same time.
Okay, next week, same time?
Yes, same time, same place. And then the week after that, it's Passover. And the week after that, it's I'm going to be in Lithuania. And at 6, I'm not sure that the week after that we'll manage to do. Let's see what's happening. And then we'll be much more clear.
Okay, so we're good for next week, but then is Passover, and then you're in Lithuania. So it might be a few weeks after that we'll have off.
Yes. Thank you, everybody, for participating. Blessing from Jerusalem, and we'll all see you hopefully next week.
Thank you very much, Rabbi.
Thank you all.
All right, folks, till next week, we hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week. Bye for now.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Likewise.